Ji, His Excellency Mr. Lukman Bobukalonza, His Excellency Ambassador S.R. Tayal, His Excellency Mr. Akatov Dilshod Khamidovich, and Mr. Azamat Sidibaliv. Could I have all of you on the stage to light up this very auspicious lamp to kickstart this very prestigious event which we have been eagerly awaiting for, lighting up the lamp and spreading positivity in the atmosphere, in the environment. And of course, we have all the ambassadors from all the 5 countries. So thank you so very much. We're deeply honored to be having you here and starting this event. Can I have a huge round of applause? Thank you so much, ambassadors. I would request the president of Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, Ambassador Anil Trigunayaji, to please come on the stage. And I would also request, okay, great, sure. I would request him to present this bouquet of flowers to our chief guest for today, Ambassador Charanjit Singh Ji. Thank you so much. Indeed, a beautiful bouquet of flowers there is. And a very blissful morning to the Assembly of Distinguished Guests, Excellencies, Honorable Speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Jazz, on behalf of Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, will be your host today and would like to extend a warm welcome to fellow delegates from India and Central Asia. The MIICCIA aims and focuses to strengthen cooperation, suggestions on empowering business and industry, ensuring development of the nation. It has realized that lots of coordination is required between the policy-making authorities and the industry to give strength, hurdle-free, with strong pillars of the smooth policy to grow in good pace. Trade between India and Central Asia has grown exponentially during the past 10 years, and Central Asia, with the population of the current population of Central Asia is about 79 million. Central Asia is now a huge potential market. India's investments in Central Asian countries have also steadily increased. In order to take forward the Prime Minister's focus and vision of robust engagement with the Central Asian countries, we have all gathered here to discuss the growth prospects and the business opportunities which lie in India and Central Asian countries. Today, we have about 125 participants, industrial experts and professionals joining this conference. We hope that we will be able to conclude certain agendas in this conference today for the region at large. And without further ado, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, I would like to invite the President of Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, Ambassador Anil Trigunayaji, to deliver the welcome address. Of course, he has been a member of the Indian Foreign Service and he has served in the Indian missions in Bangladesh, Mongolia, USA, Russia, Sweden, Nigeria, Libya, and Jordan. May I request the Ambassador to kindly come. Huge round of applause, please.
Namaste. Namaste. Good afternoon, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Senior Advisor of the MIICCIA Chamber of Commerce, and our Chief Guest, Ambassador Charanjit Singh, Joint Secretary of the Eurasian Department, members of the industry, who have very kindly graced this occasion to explore the opportunities in a region which we used to call as our extended neighborhood, especially after 1947. But as you know, recently at the SCO summit, Prime Minister clearly said that they are our extended family. Since 2012, when we had the Asia Connect policy, Connect Central Asia policy, our relationship with the region has grown from strength to strength. Despite certain issues, geopolitical issues that have happened, not necessarily anticipated, which have had an impact, in which I would like to mention connectivity, direct connectivity. But then there are other avenues that are coming out: Chabahar Port, International South Transport Corridor, Rashkabad Agreement. This region is one of the most important and critical region for nearly everyone. And that is why we are also witnessing a very large presence of several major players, global players. And India is one country which the people from the region want to also see a greater presence. And the reason is very simple. I mean, you just Google it and you will see that from the second, third millennial, we have had these relations, ancient trading routes, connectivity with the people going all over. There were empires that have been there, be it Shakas or Cholas. So we have seen that this has been happening in the region quite a lot. But in the recent times, despite, I mean, that has been the story of most of our outreaches, that we have had very few high level contacts with even our neighboring countries. But under the current government, that has changed a great deal. Prime Minister Modi happens to be the one prime minister who visited all the 5 countries. We had invited after 1991 all the leaders of these countries, Central Asian countries, and they had come here. They have seen. Since then, we have created institutional mechanisms. We have now the dialogue. We have a summit level dialogue. We were supposed to have all the leaders present here, but due to the pandemic, we could not have them on the Republic Day. And thereafter, the summit was supposed to be followed, which happened virtually. So there is a desire, political desire. We have seen some of our companies have taken the lead. They have been there. But we have to see in one way that only businessmen can do business. So the whole purpose of this, the government, the other institutions of the government have provided the necessary framework, be it by giving the lines of credit, for example. We have given individual lines of credits and about $1 billion, which has also been extended in 2020, if I remember correctly. Minister, our External Affairs Minister was there. He again announced some $200 million line of credit. So these are available to you to utilize them. And you also have a possibility of directly. Now, sometimes what happens, the physical connectivity is difficult, but at the same time, digital connectivity is very important. And fortunately for all of us, not many people know that many of the airlines are directly operating into India. One thing that we would perhaps eventually need is that we could, these charter flights which are coming today, perhaps an exception could be made for them to take the cargo. That will be one thing that will help. So today, our missions there, the ambassadors, their excellencies who are here with us today very kindly agreed to come and share the perspectives and the prospects for businesses in their country, will provide you a kind of flavor that what awaits you. So it's up to you thereafter as to how you are going to exploit these opportunities. And I can say from my personal, they're all great friends. But with friendship apart, you also have our chief guest today, who's a go-getter on this. And when I talked to him, he had many ideas. I'm quite sure he's going to share with us now exactly how we can go ahead. We have other former Indian ambassadors who have served in the region, and they speak very highly. They have been instrumental in building these blocks. So you have an opportunity of talking to them here also. We have especially invited them. Ambassador Vinod Kumar is here, Ambassador Joginder Kumar is there, and Ambassador Tyal will also join us soon. So I would not say much because we are here to listen to the government and to the ambassadors, presenting opportunities in the countries. So I once again like to thank you, and I hope you will have a good interactive opportunity today, which will be mutually beneficial for Central Asia and for India. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for setting the right tone to this prestigious conference. And can I have a huge round of applause for our President, Ambassador Anil Trigonayaji. And of course, we're happy to have amongst us our chief guest, Ambassador Charanjit Singh, Joint Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. And of course, I'd like to tell you that he has had a plethora of experience. He was a Deputy High Commissioner in London, a Consul General in Milan, a Consul General of India in Russia, and the first Secretary of the Indian Embassy in Kyrgyzstan. So I would request His Excellency Ambassador Charanjit Singh, Joint Secretary, Eurasia. He heads the Central Division, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Sir, requesting you to please come on the dais and throw some light on the areas which concern the relationship between India and Central Asian countries. Huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I must thank the President of MIICCIA, Ambassador Shri Anil Trigonayaji, because he has not left anything more for me to add. So thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So many officers I see here with whom I have worked in various capacities. I was third secretary in Moscow and attached to the information wing where Mr. Anil Trigunayat had taken over as first secretary. I was director in MER division under Mr. Yogendra Kumar and also under Mr. Vinod Kumar. And I should not forget that I was probationer in Moscow when Mr. Amarendra Khatrua was Councillor Commerce. And he very kindly agreed to rather donate his car to me, so so that I had some sort of mobility in Moscow as a probationer, because as a probationer we were getting very small salaries, so we could not afford any car. So he kindly almost gifted it to me. So thank you very much, sir, for helping me in those old days in 98, 99. So first of all, again, I would like to thank the President MIICCIA, Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, for giving me this opportunity to come here and share some thoughts with you on this occasion. I have long served in this region. I spent 4.5 years in Bishkek as second secretary, as first secretary. I speak Russian language. I served 3 years in Vladivostok, about 2 years in Moscow. So this region is not new to me. And after serving long years in multilateral economic relations division in MEA for about 8 years, where I grew from deputy secretary to director to joint secretary, all in one division. I don't know whether I should call it my luck or not luck. I have come back to this region. I came back to Delhi from London. I served briefly in CPV division, then in G20 because of my long years in MER. Then my long association with this region brought me back into my old domain as Joint Secretary Eurasia. I must say that as a second secretary, my first posting was to Bishkek, so I can say that my diplomatic career actually began from Central Asia. And recently, I had the good luck of going to my old city, Bishkek, where I served 4.5 years, and I have very fond memories of serving there because my son was born there. So that is another attachment with Bishkek. So immediately when I landed here, I had gone there to join our deputy national security advisor for the Security Council dialogue. So he was to a little later. So immediately upon landing from the Manas airport, I went to see the place where I spent 4.5 years, my house. And believe me, I could not recognize the place. I went around, and then yet another round I took of that place. The place I could not recognize. That sleepy street, Taktagula, where in a day about 50 cars would pass, there was a traffic jam. Temporarily stay was also not there. So when to identify if I can recognize all those places where I used to spend time with my family, with my son, with my colleagues, with my Kyrgyz friends, I could not recognize any one of them. Bishkek has transformed completely. Why I went into my this visit to share with you the transformation the region has gone over the last, let's say, about 20 years. I left Bishkek on 8th of August 2004. I went back in the middle of July 2023, like 19 years, or you can say roughly 20 years. And the things I saw there, it's unimaginable. When I landed first in Bishkek, it was 14th of February 2000. I went to have a dinner in an Indian restaurant in the heart of the city, which is about 100 meters from the White House. And after dinner, I came out of the restaurant about 8 o'clock in the evening. It was, of course, February, the short days. I find that there was no soul on the road. It appeared to be a deserted place. And I started to think whether I was having dinner at the center of the city or on the outskirts of the city or in some remote satellite town. And that change, that thinking of my change even within 1 year. In 2001, when I went to the same place, the same restaurant with my son, it was again peak winter, and it was full of activities. There were so many young people moving here, there, and it was not the same place. So the changes had already started coming. So now, if you go to Bishkek, you will find, I think, almost all global brands there, even the food chains like KFC, McDonald's, and all those things are there, which were which were unimaginable when I was there. So when I joined back as JS Eurasia, I thought, let me retrace my footsteps and let me see what we can do. So I picked up the papers. I saw that we have already celebrated 30 years of our diplomatic ties with every country in the region, with all the 5 Central Asian countries. We already knew that when I was there, that our relations are age old. There are so many historical places which tell the story of India's ancient relations with the region. We today have contemporary relationships with all the mechanisms of cooperation which one can think of as a practitioner, a practicing diplomat. You have intergovernmental commissions, you have foreign office consultations, you have several joint working groups on various issues of mutual interest. They have been meeting regularly. Then we have had so many exchanges over the last 20 years at the highest possible levels. Our prime minister has gone there. Our presidents of Central Asian countries have visited India. And the most important initiative which comes to my mind was the historic visit of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, Central Asian countries in July 2015. His visit was a clear statement of India's commitment to further deepen and expand its ties with all the Central Asian countries. And I'm very happy to underline here that this commitment of India was keenly reciprocated by the leadership of all the five Central Asian countries. There is a strong shared desire on both the sides, not only to sustain, but also to work together to further expand and deepen our multifaceted, mutually beneficial ties. If you look at India's focus of cooperation with the Central Asian countries, we have focused on capacity building, human resource development, developmental cooperation, and training students from that region. Our students have been going to the Central Asian countries to study medicine, and the numbers of these students has grown multifold after the conflict in Ukraine has broken out. If we give I give you some numbers, so I can tell you that if you put together the numbers for all the Central Asian countries, we have trained more than 6,200 professionals under the ITEC slots provided by Government of India. About 1,500 students from Central Asian countries have benefited from the ICCR scholarships, which we extend every year. As I mentioned, then the other aspect of our cooperation is developmental partnerships. This partnership includes infrastructure development and small community development projects, which we call high impact community development programs. We have grant projects, which we presented to the Central Asian countries. And the most recent one is the phase one of 8-lane Dushanbe Chortut highway, which was completed and handed over to the Tajik authorities, I think, in the month of April this year. We have telemedicine centers in Kyrgyzstan. We have set up IT labs in several schools in Central Asian countries. We have an entrepreneurship development center in Uzbekistan and industrial training center in Turkmenistan. We have a long list of development cooperation initiatives with these countries. As Ambassador Triguna had mentioned, we have also offered a line of a credit line of US dollar 1 billion to all the Central Asian countries collectively. Then there are individual bilateral lines of credits. But I am a bit disappointed to say that we have not been able to make forward movement on the credit. We are still having discussions with our partners from Central Asian countries on how to operationalize. We are discussing. I think, long back when I was second secretary in Bishkek, we had offered a line of credit of US dollar 5 million to Kyrgyzstan, out of which Kyrgyzstan could utilize only $1.6 million, and the rest lapsed because of the different modalities which we used to have in those days, when Government of India had to budget the entire amount of credit line, and with the lapse of financial year, the unutilized money used to lapse. So we faced that situation there, and the initial experience of using the credit line also was not very good. I must say, I must admit this. Now we have moved ahead, way ahead, and our lines of credit have many successful stories in different parts of the world. So we are trying to explain the modalities to our friends in Central Asian countries. Our interest rates are very reasonable. I think it's almost like 1.5% or slightly above, and the rate moratorium period is about 5 years, which we are also ready to discuss with the countries. So we are making all efforts to move forward. Sorry. We started signing the MOUs on high impact community development programs with the Central Asian countries sometime from the later half of 2020. So it's about, let's say, 3 years now. Uh, at the moment, there is one HICDP program, High Impact Community Development Program, which has started in Uzbekistan. It is about setting up of an allergological laboratory. Then there is another program in Uzbekistan which is moving forward. But in other Central Asian countries, we are yet to identify the projects for HICDP program. We are working and we are hopeful that soon we will be able to get some programs up and running. Then, as Ambassador Tigna had mentioned, that we added another dimension to our cooperation, bilateral cooperation with these five Central Asian countries. We started having India Central Asia dialogue. The first summit we hosted with the leaders of the five Central Asian countries virtually in 2022. So it is already time for the second edition of the summit. So we don't know, we have no plans as of now, but we will plan soon. A number of decisions were taken at that summit. A number of initiatives India pledged under the India Central Asia Dialogue platform. We agreed on a series of ministerial meetings, out of which we have already had the meeting of culture ministers. We are soon going to plan the meeting of commerce ministers. Most likely, the foreign ministers of India Central Asia are going to meet on the margins of UNGA in New York this year. Then there was a very interesting at the first India Central Asia summit. That was to host about 100 young youth icons from the five Central Asian countries, about 20 from each country. So we hosted them in November, December last year. And this was a real hit. And everybody appreciated the initiative. It actually, the initiative provided not an opportunity to those young people from Central Asia to know about India and also to know about each other. They spent about 10-15 days in India, going from place to place, from Mumbai to Agra to some other places. So they developed real friendships. So I saw when they were going away, they were really, some of them were on the verge of crying that, okay, we are like really close friends are now parting their ways. But so we are going to do the next edition of that very soon. And similarly, we organize a specially a tailor-made program for the diplomats of Central Asian countries, young diplomats. So we hosted them last year. Then there were other official tracks which we organized over the period of last 1 year. And these discussions have been really successful. This is all by way of background. And before we turn our attention to the central theme of discussion of our 2 days event, I would like to suggest to all of you that all the experts gathered here that when we are trying to explore the opportunities, the business opportunities in Central Asia, we should keep in mind what is India today? Where are we? Because when I served, or my former boss, Mr. Yogendra Kumar, served in Malaysia, we served there at a time when India was very different, very, very different. It was almost 20 years ago. So if you we are, I should give you some figures. Today, we are just not the fifth largest economy of the world, with about $3.7 trillion economy, which is growing fast pace of about 7%. We are the largest smartphone data consumers. We are the largest fintech. We have the largest fintech adoption rates. We have the third largest startup ecosystem. We have the one of the fastest infrastructure creating country. We have the fourth largest installed renewable energy capacity. And there are many more impressive achievements to our list. Over the last 20 years, we have achieved a lot. Each of these areas is a key enabler for tapping the existing as well as creating new beneficial business opportunities. For example, if we look at today, I see that we have very, very basic or minimal interaction between the banking channels of India and Central Asia. Can we push our fintech there? Can we create opportunities in fintech? Can we use our expertise in creating infrastructure? We have accomplished gigantic infrastructure projects, and these Central Asian countries are also looking to develop infrastructure. Can our companies go there and partner with them and make some win-win projects for infrastructure development? There are many areas. I don't need to go into the details of in front of such a gathering, how much hydrocarbons these Central Asian countries are sitting on, or how much is the amount of uranium which Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, how much amount of gas, coal, and all those. And if you look at the Central Asian map, every element of Mendeleev's table is there. So I don't need to go into those details. Even in the field of soft power, we can create some opportunities there. People have already started doing that. Some Bollywood movies are going there, they are being shot there. Indian dances are very popular. Indian music is popular. There's so many aspects of our soft culture. Can we do something in this field to create business opportunities? In fact, I see this today's event as a quite a general discussion. In fact, going forward, we can even have focused discussion on specific sectors. As Joint Secretary Eurasia for the last about 10 months, I see that the moment we start talking about India, Kyrgyzstan, India, Kazakhstan, or India, Central Asia business and economic relations, people immediately start talking of, okay, China has a very good relation. They have huge trade. Turkey is there. Russia is there. So these countries will remain there. They have been there. We have to work within the constraints we have, and we have to create a space of our own. People say that there is an access issue because all the Central Asian countries are landlocked. Uzbekistan is perhaps the world's only second doubly landlocked country. I see that if I look at the two problems, one is the connectivity, then the other problem is the lack of awareness. Lack of awareness about the rules and regulations followed by these countries, lack of opportunities in these countries, what is the business environment in these countries. So Indian private companies, if they have to take informed decision whether to enter into this region or not, they need first to tackle the access issue, and second, to fill the information gap. Government of India is doing something to tackle the access issue through INSTC and other routes. But the information gap can only be filled by the Indian Chambers of Commerce. So it is their duty to come forward gap and help our private companies to take informed decisions of the available opportunities and how to tap these opportunities. So I will stop here. I think I have taken a lot of time. So thank you very much for inviting me, sir. And I wish the discussions all the very best. And thank you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Charanjit Singh ji. Ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed ahead, I'd just like to throw some light on Kazakhstan. Yes, Kazakhstan, the world's largest landlocked country, boasts a growing and diverse economy fueled by abundant natural resources and strategic investments. With a commitment to economic diversification and modernization, Kazakhstan continues to chart a path of sustained growth and regional influence. It is considered home to about 120 ethnic groups and nationalities. The longest continuous land border in the world is between Russia and Kazakhstan. The tallest chimney in the world is in Kazakhstan. It has the second largest uranium reserves in the world. It is the 9th largest country in the world and the largest country that doesn't have access to the ocean. The highest mountain skating rink in the world is in Kazakhstan. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we've had the privilege of having the ambassador of Kazakhstan with us here to address. He worked in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kazakhstan in various positions, including Director of the Department of Multilateral Cooperation, the Department of International Organizations and Security Issues, and the Department of Europe. He worked in the embassies of Kazakhstan in Lithuania, Georgia, Norway, Italy, and in the permanent mission of Kazakhstan to the UN in New York. From 1999 to 2000, he was Deputy Chief of Protocol of the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and from 2016 to 2019, he worked at the Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia. It is my utmost privilege to call upon Mr. Zalgasbayev Nurlan, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Ambassador of Kazakhstan to India, to please come at the podium and share his views on the trade and cultural exchanges between India and Central Asian countries. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Charanjit Singh, Joint Secretary, MIICCIA, Excellency Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, President of the Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, colleagues, dear guests, participants, namaste. It is a great privilege for me to attend this business seminar exploring business opportunities in Central Asian countries. First of all, let me express my appreciation to His Excellency Ambassador Trigunayat and his team for facilitating this conference. The relations between Kazakhstan and India have been developing in the spirit of friendship, partnership, and are based on the cultural and historical affinity between the peoples of the two countries. Mutual cooperation raised to the strategic level in January 2009 and has been enhancing very fast. The main highlights of the cooperation are absence of any issues between Kazakhstan and India. We share similar positions on the main topics of international agenda. During the years after establishment diplomatic relations between Kazakhstan and India in February 1992, we have been able to achieve a lot together thanks to mutual relationships based on mutual respect and implementation of interests. Only this year, we had two important events with participation of our leaders, virtual Voice of the South Global South Summit on January 13 and Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit on July 4. We attach a great importance to promoting economic ties with India. Both regions, Central and South Asia, possessing inexhaustible economic and natural resources, big intellectual capital, turn into an effective platform for global processes. The center of global economic activity, transport corridors, fast-growing markets, and digital technologies are shifting here. The historical role of the Great Silk Road as an ancient transport and logistic network connecting Central and South Asia, West and East, cannot be overestimated. We must revive these traditions in modern conditions, since a lot already done in this direction. I am confident that the new Silk Road as a land bridge between countries, peoples and culture will ultimately take a central role in economic development, trade and innovations in the 21st century. The economic growth of the Central Asian region, the path that the region has traveled over the past 30 years, and the scale of economic changes in recent years are impressive. The countries of Central Asia have undergone a serious transformation and have become a fairly large, significant, and rapidly growing region. It is strongly believed that the consolidation and convergence of Central Asia-India relations are distinctly perceptible. The deep commitment towards taking the evolving partnership to newer heights is potentially transformational for maintaining the geostrategic equilibrium of the region and the world. Dear friends, nevertheless, current global trends require us to develop common approaches in all areas of our interaction. In this regard, I would like to share my vision on the development of key areas of the Central Asia and India cooperation. The main priority, in my opinion, should be given for strengthening of the trade, economic, and transport interconnectedness of Central Asia and India. In this regard, I consider it justified to continue working together to increase the volume of mutual trade. I would like to especially note the positive dynamics of the development of the economic relations between our countries. As you know, Kazakhstan is India's main trade economic partner in Central Asia. I am pleased to note that in last year, trade turnover between our countries reached 2.4 billion US dollars, which is more than 16% higher than in previous year. Kazakhstan, like other brotherly countries of the region, has all the opportunities to increase trade with India. Our countries have an intention deepening economic cooperation in such areas as pharmaceuticals, energy, information technology, investment, space, and others. It is necessary to conduct an in-depth analysis of export opportunities, diversify the structure of trade as soon as possible, and develop a roadmap to increase trade flows, considering the competitive advantages of each country. This initiative was proposed during the Central Asia-India Virtual Summit. Our task is to create conditions for the development of small and medium-sized businesses on the way to deepening trade, economic, cultural, and tourist ties. Central Asia is becoming a transit hub in the system of international transport corridors between the world industrial centers of Asia and Europe. It is difficult to overestimate the historical role of the Silk Road as a transport and logistic network of antiquity connecting Central and South Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. In accordance with the agreement reached on January 27 last year by the heads of our states during the first summit in the Central Asia, we are actively working to establish transit and transport links and pay special attention to the development of the transit potential of the country. In the context of modern geopolitical conditions and disruption of logistic supply chain, the international north-south transport corridor, especially Chabahar port, are becoming increasingly relevant. Further development of regional connectivity is essential for enhancing trade and commerce between India and Central Asian countries in the context of our landlocked nature and lack of overland connectivity with India. The development and operation of MIICCIA will also benefit India's private sector. As Asia is currently projected to be home to 66% of the world's middle class with significant purchasing power, it is expected that entry into new markets, which by INSTC routes, will benefit private players in India. Indian firms engaged in the production of agricultural commodities, textiles, organic chemicals, and others can benefit greatly from this progress. Not only manufacturers, but also cost savings due to a shorter route can reduce the cost of transporting products and make them more competitive in the market, which ultimately also reduce costs for retailers and consumers. Central Asia is turning into an important transport and logistic link connecting the markets that form 65% of world GDP. For landlocked countries like ours, this is a matter of strategic importance. The possibility of creating a high-level interregional transport and logistic consortium is currently under consideration. The consortium could develop a coordinated policy on the effective loading of existing routes in the direction of India, such as the Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran railway and ports in the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf like Chabahar, Bandar Abbas, and others. Dear friends, the community understands the importance of developing transport infrastructure as the basis of integration. I hope this event will bring the interests of business community to my country closer and will also contribute to solving optimal task for building mutually beneficial cooperation. Since its independence, Kazakhstan attracted around 400 billion US dollars of foreign direct investments. As for the Indian investments to Kazakhstan, the overall volume from 2005 till now counts 380 million US dollars. And I am confident that with your help, we can do more. According to the World Bank Doing Business report, last Kazakhstan ranked 25th place, which is a great recognition for us in terms of government's transformation agenda on ease of doing business and improvement of business climate. Kazakhstan has created all conditions for foreign investors in terms of favorable investment climate and ease of doing business. For instance, since 1998, the Council of Foreign Investors under the chairmanship of the President of Kazakhstan is operating in the country. It's worth mentioning that members of this council are President of EBRD, Executive Vice President of Chevron, General Director of Citigroup, as well as leadership of such transnational companies as Royal Dutch Shell, Eni, Glencore, JP Morgan, Total, Mitsubishi, and others. Prime Minister is performing functions as an investment ombudsman. In terms of investment attraction and investor support, we created a national company named Kazakh Invest. It operates as a single negotiator on behalf of the government and provides support to investors on the single window basis. A country office of Kazakh Invest is operating in Kazakh embassy, which is based in Vasant Vihar. Regarding investment incentives, there is a wide range of various benefits available for investors, such as tax exemptions, import duty exemption, land plots provision, state in-kind grants, investment subsidies, and many other state support measures. A new tool to support strategic investors has been created in Kazakhstan. A strategic investment agreement for the projects above 50 million US dollars. A mechanism allows investors to put agreement with the government directly without additional ratification by the parliament, and grants a legislation stability in terms of tax and labor codes, at least for the period of 25 years. In terms of availability of the infrastructure, there are 13 special economic zones and 36 industrial zones currently available in Kazakhstan. In April this year, Investment Committee of Foreign Minister of Kazakhstan published a pool of investment projects of non-resource sector, primarily that are under implementation, that counts more than 750 projects with a gross value of more than 5.3 billion US dollars. On the top of that, an investment project catalog that was formalized by Deloitte Kazakhstan office is available on the Kazakh Invest website. Okay. What is a priority for investments in Kazakhstan? These are food processing, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, medicine equipment, IT and ICT, electronics, healthcare, green and renewable energy, logistic, including tourism infrastructure. In conclusion, I'm delighted to invite representatives and members of Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture to explore opportunities to do business with Kazakhstan. Embassy is ready to provide with all needed support and guidance. मेरे देश में व्यापार के बेहतरीन अवसर है आपका कजाकिस्तान में स्वागत है थैंक यू
I think he spoke Hindi really well. Can we have a huge round of applause for His Excellency Ambassador Nurlan? WAPCOS is a premier central public sector enterprise wholly owned by the Government of India under the administrative control of the Ministry of Jal Shakti. WAPCOS is engaged in engineering, consultancy services and construction in the fields of water, power and infrastructure sectors for businesses and communities in India and overseas. Over the last decades, WAPCOS has been providing engineering consultancy services for projects in water. Okay, I think I'm repeating the same thing. I would request Shri Manojji and Shri Harendraji from WAPCOS to please come at the podium and present the next segment. Thank you. A round of applause, please, for the gentleman. Thank you.
Respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, myself Manoj Kumar from WAPCOS India Limited. I am the chief engineer. And WAPCOS is a Government of India organization, sir, established in 1969 under the control of Ministry of Jal Shakti. WAPCOS is providing consultancy services in water, power and infrastructure sector. We are providing consultancy service from concept to commission. That is in water, power and infrastructure. Preparation of feasibility report, detailed project reports, tender engineering, and during construction services, design reviews and quality management and testing and commissioning of all power infrastructure and water projects. We are of course presently working in 55 countries around the world. We are working in South America, North America, around 25 countries in Africa and in India. WAPCOS also provides EPC contract services also. We have constructed a Salma Dam, Afghanistan, and 220 kV transmission lines in Cambodia. And we are also working in Central Asian countries from Kazakhstan to Turkmenistan and Turkmenistan to Afghanistan. There is a 500 kV HVDC transmission line is going. For that, WAPCOS is the consultant. And we are also working for hydro projects in Uzbekistan and also water projects in Tajikistan. And we are working for a number of funding agencies, sir, like World Bank, African Development Bank, European Agency, and funding agency. WAPCOS is working for that. And WAPCOS is also working of India. And recently, our JS has told they are going to fund a LOC for South Asian countries. So I would like to request the country's ambassadors, sir, for Exim Bank projects, we are working around the world. So for feasibility reports or detailed project reports or tender engineering, whatever in power, water and infrastructure sector. So we are ready to help you at in any way. So we want feasibility reports or pre-feasibility reports or whatever, so sir. And in more detail, I would like to present a web post film. I would request to give an opportunity to present the web post film. Thank you so much.
This is the story of India's pride and the world's consultancy organization, enriched with milestones, successes, and triumphs. Vapcos, customizing solutions that drive the world. Under the Ministry of Jati, Vapcos has achieved many feats, though the mainstays invariably remain water resources, power, and Vapcos, the power behind hydro, thermal, and solar projects the world over, has several accolades in this sector. It has designed, engineered, and constructed 51 hydropower projects in 19 countries, with an installed capacity of more than 20,500 megawatt of power. The completion of Afghan India Friendship Dam with an installed capacity of 42 megawatt of hydropower has led to the irrigation of over 75,000 hectares of land and the lighting up of thousands of homes in Afghanistan. Vapcos has spread its wings in 47 countries across the globe. From Fiji, the land of international dateline where the sun rises, to Cambodia in the east, from Africa, the developing continent, to Guatemala in Central America. In the north, Vapcos is showcasing its technical prowess and changing lives for the better, from Mongolia to Swaziland in south. Vapcos has made an indelible mark in the continent of Africa. It has provided expertise in consultancy and operations and maintenance for thermal projects. In Hwanghae Thermal Power Station alone, it has boosted power generation by nearly 350% since 2010. Harnessing the power of the sun, Vapcos took a giant leap to push for green energy in countries like Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, Niger, and Congo. Vapcos has also introduced smart grid concepts to make transmission projects underground in 13 countries. It has the expertise to provide transmission services up to 765 kV. By now, it has completed more than 4,000 circuit kilometers of transmission lines. Currently, working on more than 500 projects, it has either been the first to introduce or redesign infrastructure across the world, be it water supply and sanitation, rural and urban development, roads, ports or harbor. Vapcos excels in every project it undertakes. It has created the lifeline of Mozambique and quenched the thirst of many cities in Tanzania. From concrete-faced rockfill dams to lift irrigation technology, Vapcos has brought in a whole new perspective to the state-of-the-art development. Vapcos's services in foreign lands have given a fillip to other Indian companies in getting more and more business opportunities. Its detailed project reports result in multiplier effect, leading to not only the desired benefits, but also to employment generation, overall socio-economic development, and improvement in the quality of life. Working relentlessly to be a part of India's success story, WAPCOS has inspired many self-sustaining projects. It has given a fresh lease of life to the desolate, arid landscape of the Thar Desert in Rajasthan by assuring food security through the Indira Gandhi Canal project. WAPCOS was involved in Sardar Sarovar project and has microcanalized 2.1 million hectares of its command area. It has also supervised the installation of radial gates of Sardar Sarovar Dam. It is undoubtedly the leader in pumped storage development in India. It has planned and provided engineering designs for 10 major pumped storage projects, of which some are already functional. WAPCOS is a partner in the biggest safe and sustainable piped drinking water supply system in India, Mission Bhagiratha. The project has brought the state of Telangana out of chronic drought situations, giving impetus to the organization's efforts to provide drinking water to nearly 2 crore 32 lakh people in the state. WAPCOS is supervising a number of multi-purpose national projects. Polavaram amongst them is a one-stop solution for irrigation, power, drinking and industrial water requirements for 5 crore people of Andhra Pradesh. It is involved in flagship programs of the Government of India and is playing a key role in the nation's march towards glory. Under the Namami Gange program, WAPCOS has renovated and scientifically designed ghats and crematoria in the Ganga basin. WAPCOS is also involved in the development of national waterways and interlinking rivers like Par Tapi Narmada for water deficit Saurashtra and Kutch in Gujarat and Daman Ganga Pinjal link in Maharashtra. It has successfully completed projects for various multilateral agencies, including the World Bank, African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, Japan International Cooperation Agency, KfW German Development Bank, and many others. WAPCOS has built residential, commercial, and institutional buildings. Besides constructing bridges, canals, and culverts, it has also modernized existing infrastructure. Recently, it has bagged a prestigious project in Lutyens, Delhi, to design and construct a multi-storied building, an office of the Registrar General and Census Commission of India. WAPCOS is honored to be associated with Indian Army, Indian Navy, BSF, ITBP, NSG, and DRDO. With a growing economy, the nation is finding it increasingly tough to handle a colossal number of vehicles. WAPCOS is all geared to address this problem. Ropeways, the urban transport solution of the future. Work has already begun in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Considering the technical and financial competences of WAPCOS, the Government of India asked WAPCOS to make a strategic investment in 98.89% share of NPCC, a mini Ratna Category 1 public sector undertaking. NPCC, with 62 years experience in construction sector, has handled several projects in remote and inaccessible terrains all over the country. It has worked for prestigious clients like Archaeological Survey of India, Assam Rifles, Border Roads Organization, Central Board of Indirect Taxes, Ministry of Tourism, and many more. The synergy of WAPCOS and NPCC will achieve higher targets, attain bigger goals, and play a stellar role in developing infrastructure the world over. WAPCOS has shown a consistent growth since its inception 2008-2009 onwards. WAPCOS is also the proud recipient of several prestigious awards. Under the inspiring and dynamic leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, WAPCOS has achieved unimaginable feats. It continues to scale new peaks under the guidance of Ministry of Jal Shakti, led by the Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat. Backed by a highly trained, dynamic workforce with a track record of growth and excellence, WAPCOS is working incessantly demands, combining the elemental gateways to reach extraordinary feats. This is WAPCOS.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you especially for MIICCIA, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was indeed a very great presentation there. Can I have a round of applause for WAPCOS, please, for the achievements? Tajikistan. Tajikistan, nestled in the heart of Central Asia, has experienced steady GDP growth, primarily attributed to remittances and the expanding agricultural sector. This resilient nation continues to work towards economic diversification and sustainable development amidst its scenic, mountainous landscape. Tajikistan, in Tajikistan, you can go at the Pamir Mountains, which are over 7,000 meters. Lake Iskandarkul, located in the Sukht province at an elevation of 2,195 meters, is one of the world's most spectacular sites. It's home to the world's longest glacier outside the polar regions. It will be home to the world's highest dam, and it is among the countries with the greatest potential for hydroelectric power in the world, and most of the electric power generated in Tajikistan is hydroelectric. It gives me immense pleasure to call upon the ambassador of Tajikistan, His Excellency Mr. Lukman. He has, with the degree of the President of the Republic of Tajikistan, he has been appointed as the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Tajikistan to the Republic of India, and he presented his credentials to the President of the Republic of India, His Excellency Mr. Ramnath Kovindji. Can I have His Excellency Mr. Lukman at the podium? It's been an honor to be having you here, sir, and you're looking very handsome there.
Good afternoon. Distinguished President of Chamber, Ambassador Trigunayat, distinguished Joint Secretary, Eurasia, Ambassador Charanjit Singh, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me an immense pleasure to address today's seminar on exploring business opportunities in Central Asia and to extend my sincere appreciation to dear Ambassador Trigunayat and his team for creating an excellent environment for success of today's meeting. We believe that such an event and format for conversation would not only help us to share views and knowledges, but also facilitate our joint quest for finding new opportunities in strengthening mutually beneficial cooperation and delivering tasks set by First Central Asia and India Summit held the last year. If you look to the past 3 decades of Tajikistan-India relations, we can see how both sides focus every effort in forming solid and wide legal basis for mutually beneficial cooperation. Today, the legal framework of our bilateral cooperation embraces more than 75 documents, which is indeed a remarkable achievement. At the same time, the existing legal documents have created solid foundation and flexible frameworks for several joint working groups and commissions, which some of which are active today in promoting our cooperation in different spheres. Nowadays, our ties building on lasting common historical and cultural roots, as well as strategically important partnership, cordial and mutual trust, continue to embrace many dimensions of human endeavor, with special focus on stability and security, connectivity, trade, industry, agriculture, energy, disaster risk reduction, culture, health, education, and humanitarian affairs. The first India Central Asia Summit held last year opened a new chapter in our cooperation, not only by setting specific goals and tasks, but also with creating new multilateral mechanisms at ministerial and working levels. Before dwelling into new opportunities for Indian business in Central Asia, I would like to share with you shortly some information about ongoing cooperation between private and public companies of Tajikistan and India. Here, the two words mentioned that today Tata Power, which is actively engaged in the implementation of a national project on reforming energy sector, namely the national energy company Barkhi Tojik, which will be divided into 3 separate companies. Another example relates to a much bigger cross-regional project, CASA 1000, which will connect energy grids of Central Asia and South Asia. 2 main partners from India, Kalpataru and KSC, actively engaged in the implementation of this project under guidance of the World Bank. The total cost of the project is around $1.1 billion US. It is well known that South Asia and Central Asia are complementary players in energy market. In this context, we believe that huge hydropower potential of Tajikistan, which already was mentioned here, will facilitate achieving energy security in both regions. Based on positive and mutually beneficial cooperation on energy, we invited Indian companies to be active in the development and implementation of other projects on renewable energy in Tajikistan. Since 1992, more than 283 small hydropower plants have been with many countries with a total capacity of over 30,000 kilowatt. However, currently, Tajikistan utilizes only 4 huge hydropower potential, which exceeds 500 kilowatt per hour. Another area of mutual beneficial cooperation is pharmacy and healthcare. India is well known as a production hub for affordable pharmaceuticals and healthcare. More than 70 joint ventures are registered in Tajikistan with participation of Indian companies, which are active in these sectors. Nowadays, these companies are encouraged towards setting up local production and services in Tajikistan. But frankly speaking, the process is very slow, and therefore it should be incentivized and facilitated more proactively. It is well known that establishing a new production or services is itself a complex process. Through combining existing capacities of Indian and Tajik companies, this process could be accelerated. We believe that in this direction, B2B could be the most efficient mode of cooperation in future. There are more 2 examples of cooperation between Tajikistan and India. First one relates to the first Indian serious private investment in Tajikistan, where Indian company CHL has built a 5-star hotel and continues its operation. The next example relates to mutually beneficial cooperation in education. Today, more than 1,500 Indian students are enrolled at the medical university in Dushanbe. According to the instructions of the first Central Asia in India summit, we are working towards strengthening our connectivity. After the pandemic of COVID-19, we restarted direct flights between our capitals. In order to increase number of direct flights between two countries, we have already invited Indian air companies to start operating their flights also. Efforts are underway within Joint Working Group on Chabahar to increase trade of goods and commodities through this port in Iran. Chabahar port is expected to be main hub for increasing our sea and land connectivity aimed at boosting mutual trade. Without any doubt, an emerging transport and transit corridor through Chabahar will strengthen our connectivity and facilitate mutual trade and investment by providing new avenues for B2B and G2B interactions. These positive examples of cooperation between public and private sectors of two countries indicates that when opportunities are utilized jointly and in a mutually beneficial way, then such cooperation will be long-lasting and sustainable. At the same time, I would like to underline that there are many other areas where a presence of Indian companies is welcomed. Foremost, I would like to invite to your consideration new and emerging opportunities in the industrial sector. In 2018, the government of Tajikistan announced the rapid industrialization as its fourth strategic goal and endorsed special plans and incentives towards this aim. India has rich experience and potential in industrialization, as well as earlier has adopted similar goals. Therefore, exchange of views and experiences in industrialization, as well as establishing joint ventures and companies in industry would be mutually beneficial. Towards this aim, the government of Tajikistan conducted a detailed geological survey in the country, which facilitated developing many new deposits of non-ferrous, ferrous, precious metals, precious and decorative stones, construction materials, chemicals, and other minings. During the period of 1992 to 2019, in the mining industry of the country, 35 new companies were established, including 23 in mining, 8 in jewelry, 7 in extraction and processing of precious and decorative stones. Over the recent years, using innovative technologies and local materials, dozens of new enterprises have been established to produce construction materials, including cement, bricks, non-metallic materials, stone processing, mineral and decorative stones, and others. Processing of local raw materials, cotton, leather, wool, silk cocoon, effective use of existing capacities, creating new jobs, and strengthening production of export-oriented industry companies, including spinning, weaving, and furniture production increased from 63 in 1991 to 486. At present, there are 18 spinning mills in the country with a capacity of more than 80,000 tons of cotton fiber processing. The government of Tajikistan also, towards this aim, established economic zones, 2 of them located in bordering areas with Afghanistan. Another perspective area for cooperation could be agriculture, as Chamber also covers this very wide area. It's well known that providing food security is not an easy task today. Since climate change, water shortages, water and land shortages, drought and locusts seriously affecting our achievements in food security and diminishing our capacity to provide safe and nutritious food. Direct cooperation exchanges between research institutions, farmers associations, agribusiness is considered to be mutually beneficial. The differences in harvesting seasons in both regions could facilitate strengthening mutually food security. If necessary, facilitation mechanism like seasonal green corridors, which will ease trade in fresh and dried fruits in expedited manner, would be established. We have already established such a mechanism with some CIS countries and looking forward to create similar mechanism with India. In conclusion, I want to inform you that the next month, on September 29 and 30th, Tajikistan will host Dushanbe International Investment Forum, where new projects and prospects for cooperation between private and public sectors will be presented. The forum will be focused on the development and promotion of digital and green economy, as well as on exploring new opportunities in energy, agriculture, industry, ICT, health, pharmacy, tourism, and other sectors. I believe the forthcoming Dushanbe Forum would be appropriate venue for Indian companies to get more information about new opportunities, as well interact and discuss with their potential partners, not only from Tajikistan, but from other Central Asian countries, on new perspectives and opportunities for their cooperation. Therefore, I would like to invite distinguished participants of the seminar, and especially President of the Chamber, to attend the Dushanbe International Investment Forum on 29-30 September this year. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so very much, His Excellency. Turkmenistan, known for its vast desert landscapes and rich natural gas reserves, has achieved substantial GDP growth, driven mainly by its energy sector. The nation is focused on harnessing its resources for long-term economic development and modernization. Ashgabat, the capital city, is in the Guinness Book of World Records. The look from its grand boulevards, fountains, and grandiose statues and glistening white buildings. This is all thanks to the building boom initiated by the former president. And the central part of the city, flush with massive structures and elaborate public spaces, literally shines in the hot desert sun, thanks to being built primarily in white marble. Just a well-known fact, Turkmen melons are so famous and sweet that they have their own national holiday. I would now request His Excellency Mr. Shelar to please come at the podium for his next address.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Trigunaji, the President of Millennium Chamber of Commerce, my dear colleagues from Central Asia countries, distinguished guests, dear friends. It is a privilege for me to be invited to this business seminar to share our perspective on India-Central Asia cooperation, and therefore I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for this opportunity. Thank you very much. Pakistan and India traditionally have friendly relations. When we talk about our bilateral relations, we should understand that our peoples are with common history, shared similar heritage and culture. These factors make our countries and nation even closer. Over the past 3 decades, bilateral relations between Turkmenistan and India have increasingly developed in all main areas of political, trade, economic, cultural, and human collaboration. We established fruitful partnership in major international projects such as Tapi Gas Pipeline, development of Ashgabat Agreement International Transport Corridors, and South-North International Transport Corridors, and also the Chabahar port. India became one of the first countries with which Turkmenistan established direct air services. Since then, Turkmenistan Airlines have operated regular flights on the route Ashgabat-Delhi. In collaboration with our Indian friends, we established the production enterprises, the training center, and yoga center in Ashgabat. As it known, in April of last year, the Honorable President of the India paid state visit to Turkmenistan. It was the first time in the history of our bilateral relations, the visit of President of India. At the meeting with our leadership, a wide range issues discussed international trade and economic cooperation. The both sides expressed interest in increasing cooperation in other sectors and identified it energy, petrochemicals, transport, communication, information and technologies, textiles, leathers and footwear, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, construction, agriculture and agro-processing as potential areas for greater cooperation between two countries. Both sides stressed on the importance of creating favorable conditions, facilitate greater understanding of business regulation, and promote participation of private companies of both countries in various investment projects of mutual interest. They encourage their companies in both countries for greater participation in national exhibitions, business forums, and other events for the facilitating business interaction and linkages. Both sides also welcome the advance made in mutual supplies of products, building up the industrial potentials, use the digital technologies, and investing in priority projects for countries. Ladies and gentlemen, a grandiose construction site and that transformed the standard of living of the people. Many innovative plants and factories have built in the capital and the other cities and the regions. Each industry is being modernized by technically upgraded, switching the latest technologies. As an example, that around 3,000 facilities totally worth of around 40 billion are currently under construction in Turkmenistan. In July of this year, the first smart city inaugurated in Turkmenistan. The best tradition of national arts, of building, and modern trends of architecture and design are harmoniously combined there. Special attention is paid to an important aspect of ecology. Those environmental friendly materials were used in the construction of the facilities. Regarding the possibilities of collaboration and investment projects between two countries, let me enumerate just the main directions of cooperation. First, of course, is the oil and gas industry, the creation of alternative options of bringing Turkmen energy resources to the world market through the constructions of an extensive pipeline system and long-term partnership with leading international companies for the effective development of hydrocarbon resources, deep exploration and field development, both onshore and offshore of the Caspian, increase the extractions, processing and exports. Chemical industry to increase the production of chemical products, including the complexes for the production of carbamide, phosphate fertilizers, caustic soda, iodine, chlorine, bromine, and products from them. In the textile industry, the target is to further attract foreign investment, increase the volume of cotton fiber processing, create new jobs in the industry, introduce advanced technologies and innovatives in production. further expand mutual beneficial cooperation with partners in investors, and produce competitive products in this area. In other industries, also diversification, the development of both export-oriented and import-substituting industries based on the use of local raw materials has been chosen as a start. In the agri-industrial complex provides for the production and processing the grain, cotton, as well as the wool, rawhides. It is planned to increase the volume of the production of the country of meat and dairy, fruits and vegetables and melons, fruits and berries, increasing the numbers of livestock and poultry. In the field of transport and communication, the main flow of the investments is aimed at the development of road, air, rail, pipeline, river and sea transport, and the creation of logistics centers. A comprehensive of modernization and diversification of the industry infrastructure continues, using the most advanced equipment in order to expand the communication systems. Digital television and radio broadcasting and an electronic document management system is being systematically introduced. In the social sphere, the investment policy is focused on the improving the quality and standard of living of the population, employment of the able-bodied population by creating equal economic conditions that led to an increased number of jobs. In this context, reconstruction and construction of the following areas of the social sphere and engineering infrastructure is envisaged: hospitals, health centers, secondary schools like that, cultural centers. Investment policy in the non-state sector of the economy is aimed at the creation and development of small and medium-sized enterprises and industries producing both export-oriented imports competitive products. So, ladies and gentlemen, above examples is clearly demonstrate the achievements in economic cooperation with India and at the same time point the existing of the large reserves in its development. And in conclusion, I would like to once more again express my deep gratitude to leadership of Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture for the excellent organization of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency. Uzbekistan reflects robust economic growth driven by diversification efforts and strategic reforms, making it a promising emerging market in Central Asia. Uzbekistan, with its rich history along the Silk Road, combines a vibrant culture with a steadily growing GDP driven by agriculture, energy, and tourism sectors. As the nation implements economic reforms and invests in infrastructure, it's poised for both cultural and preservation and modern cultural preservation and modern growth. So it's a double landlocked country. It is one of the 45 landlocked countries in the world. Not only is it landlocked, but it's also one of the two doubly landlocked nations in the world. Alexander the Great once occupied Uzbekistan. Cotton is known as white gold in Uzbekistan, and it's home to one of the world's largest open pit gold mines. It is a matter of indeed great honor for me to call Ambassador S.R. Tayalsa, IFS. He is a graduate of Allahabad University, has a postgraduate degree in chemistry. After joining the Indian Foreign Service, Ambassador Tayal served in the Indian missions in Sofia, Warsaw, Geneva, and Moscow. He was India's Consul General in Johannesburg and Houston, and Ambassador of India to Uzbekistan. He was the Ambassador of India to the Republic of Korea during 2000. Sir, may I please request you to come at the podium? Round of applause. And of course, he's looking very handsome.
Good afternoon. First of all, let me clarify that I was ambassador of India to Uzbekistan, a country I love, and I've been going there frequently. And if any of you has not yet been there, please visit not only Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Lake Isikul in Kazakhstan, the Almaty, and it's amazing for tourism. Well, esteemed ambassadors of Facilitation republics, my friend Ambassador Anil Trugunayat, all the associates and well-wishers and members of this millennial chamber, a very good afternoon to you. I see so many friends here, Ambassador Yogendra Kumar, and Ambassador Khatua, Ambassador Vinod Kumar, Mr. Rajesh Mehta. There are a lot of people here who have really spent a lot of time in promoting India Central Asia relations, trade, investment. They have first hand experience and there have been results. If you really see the trajectory of trade and investment between India and Central Asia, the figures are rising. I think now we are at about $1.5 billion of trade, more and more investments. And as our Joint Secretary said, this is a new India. And also, I'm happy to say and observe that Central Asia is also changed. It is new, it is more open, it is more liberal. Our businessmen have more freedom to act. Repatriation of funds, when I was there was such a problem when our people made some money to repatriate funds from, then now there is no issue of that kind. So there is money to be made in Central Asia, and many of the sectors have been covered by esteemed ambassadors, by our Joint Secretary, and as well as WebCos. WebCos has already done some very good work. All these areas are short of water. There is so much of water management to be done, and WebCos can be a very, very effective and good partner. I will just focus on 2 or 3 sectors where there is already a lot of energy, but also there is a lot of potential, because I see a lot of young entrepreneurs and businessmen, and they are looking for ideas. And one, of course, is this connectivity problem. Since 1990, we have been talking about it. We have been grappling with it. Now that North-South transport corridor is there, but Iran is under sanctions, so there are challenges, and that is not going to improve very quickly. So, as Prime Minister Modi has said, that one thing is the digital highway, the digital connectivity, and this $1 billion of line of credit which India has offered can be used for connectivity, including for digital connectivity, so that there are enough servers, enough capacity for having a very fast and seamless and secure transfer of data between India and Central Asian republics. And there is uh, uh, scope there for private parties to come. And of course, there is that model available, that just like Indian companies provide IT-enabled services and back office operations, accounting, etc., to English-speaking world, United States and Europe, and our software companies have almost $100 billion worth of business. So can India and Central Asian countries be partners in tapping this business in Russia? Because our Central Asian friends know Russian. You all have very good, young, talented manpower in all the Central Asian republics which knows Russian. We have ourselves established IT institutions in all the 5 Central Asian republics. I was recently in Uzbekistan. There is an IT park there, or an Indian expert is there. But how do you tap the Russian market with sanctions, etc.? So establish a company in Russia itself, where manpower will come from Central Asia, software will come from India, and no big Indian software company will touch it, because they will get sanctioned. Their main business is in US. but a young entrepreneur can find a creative way to buy that software from the Indian company, use the Facilitation manpower, and service the Russian market, whether it is Aeroflot, whether it is Russian banks, whether it is a transport, the cities need lighting, all the entire menu of businesses is available. And how will they get paid? Russia has reserves, rupee reserves in India. We are buying oil from them. All that money is here. Nobody knows what to do with the Indian rupees. So some very creative thinking is required. And, people, I will say, who dealt creative have made a lot of money. I will not name, but people have made a lot of money. Then second, of course, is healthcare that was mentioned. And any flight you go to take from Central Asia, there will be a good number of people coming from Central Asian republics for treatment, etc. here. But there is some information gap, and sometimes when one meets friends who have come for treatment, they have some queries. Sometimes they feel they can the Millennium Chamber or some other come with some creative solution. Like if you want to have a car insurance in India, there are so many websites you can go. You can compare the prices. You can compare who is offering what. So can some young entrepreneur start some kind of a comparative a platform where the big hospitals will give their details of what they offer at what cost, etc., and that can be translated into Russian in all the five Central Asian republics. So a patient sitting in Astana or in Bishkek or some, he can compare, he can see which hospital to go to, and he has reasonable idea about costs, and not to be taken by surprise when he comes here. And a similar kind of comparative service is required for education, as I mentioned. The 18,000 Indian medical students who were in Ukraine, they want to complete their medical education, and they are all going to Central Asian republics and Bishkek, Dushanbe, and they really do not know which medical college there really has good facilities, because they all claim that they teach in English, but many do not. So again, there is some scope for some kind of a agency where chambers can get involved, and so that the Indian student, when he is going to Central Asian republics for any kind of medical education or some other education, has some way to assess where he is going and what kind of facilities are available. And another new area is opening up. I understand, Ambassador, 100 Indian English teachers are being employed by government of Uzbekistan. When I was there, I learned about that. And because there is a lot of desire among the youth of Central Asian republics to learn Russian, English also, and there Indian people can help. And so there are, of course, hospitality is there. There is a shortage of hotels, but every time I go, I do find new hotels coming up, at least in Tashkent, and I'm sure in many other cities. But hospitality, we have an absolute expertise in hospitality business and tourism, and this is an area where there are immense possibilities for more and more cooperation. So my take is, please be creative. There is money to be made in Central Asia, and whoever goes there takes some risks and taps the talent and opportunities available there, he will be the winner and he will not regret it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Taya. Central Asia countries are major traditioned trading partners of India. Whatever it is, be it traditional items or engineering goods or any other products. Now, time has come for Indian trade and India to look more intensely into these markets. And one reason is also the Russia-Ukraine war. Ambassador Dilshod Kamidovich Akharov is he has studied and graduated in the field of international relations from the University of World Economy and Diplomacy, Moscow State Institute of International Relations. He began in 1999, he began a 4-year service as a foreign and security policy specialist at the Uzbekistan Embassy in Germany. In 2007, he was appointed head of the section for cooperation with European states at the Uzbekistan Foreign Ministry. Leaving in 2010, he then became ambassador to the Uzbekistan in Berlin, and more recently has attended conferences at the Institute of Cultural Diplomacy as a symposium speaker. Can I have you at
Dear Ambassador Anil Turgunayat, President of Millennium India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, Excellencies, dear colleagues, ambassadors, distinguished speakers, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, Namaste. Thank you. Namaste, Namaskar, good evening. I'm also delighted to attend today's very important event dedicated to business opportunities and trade facilitations in Central Asian region. I would like to join also in the words of gratitude personally to Ambassador Anil Ji and to the team of MIICCIA for taking the initiative of organizing this event as well as for inviting me to it. Dear friends, as you are aware, the countries of Central Asia, including Uzbekistan, are connected with India through centuries old cultural, trade, and economic links, and above all with bonds of sincerity between our peoples. And today, it's actually right time to boost our old cooperation. Actually, it is these ties, these relations are very, very close. But anyway, it is needed to boost the partnership. And if I tell about my country, about Uzbekistan, then I would like to underline that new Uzbekistan is becoming a country of democratic opportunities and practical deeds. As Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji as said, then Uzbekistan, or I think our other neighboring countries, brotherly, also now we are moving ahead with the principle of think big, dream big, and act big. And currently, one of the most important strategic priorities of the direction between Uzbekistan and India is the deepening of economic partnership. Nowadays, our countries enjoy the most favorable treatment in trade, but anyway, we must once again boost this partnership, this cooperation. During the last 6-7 years, we have witnessed a considerable rise of trade and economic cooperation with India. And I would like to underline that our economies don't compete, but complement each other. Some figures in 2022, for instance, the trade turnover between two countries was about it was record, but there are untapped potential and huge opportunities to push this cooperation. And this is, of course, so the very, very small reflection, actually, I would like to say, of our trade potential. Therefore, our leaders identified the task of increasing the trade volumes to at least 1 billion within recent years. There are a wide range of products which we may offer to Indian market. One of them are dried fruits, very famous across the world. And carried marketing research shows that there are great opportunities in this area, which we have. Okay. Advantage of. And the continental climate of Uzbekistan, as well as other Central Asian countries, is well suited for growing more than 350 types of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and beans, herbs, and melons. And Uzbekistan exports 180 types of agriculture products to more than 80 countries around the world. At the same time, the interest of Indian investors to Uzbekistan is growing. In particular, strong cooperation has been established in such areas as pharmaceuticals, education, healthcare, IT, real estate and hotel management or hotel development, production of automotive components, etc. Currently, there are more than 420 enterprises with the participation of Indian capital in Uzbekistan, including 280 plus, more than 280 enterprises with 100% Indian capital and 140 joint ventures. Nevertheless, it should be noted that the economic and trade potential of Uzbekistan and India is not fully used. As I mentioned, we have huge untapped potential for increasing the scale of cooperation in the spheres of trade, investment, technologies, and innovations. Carried marketing research shows that there are huge opportunities which we have taken advantage of. For instance, one pharmaceutical industry. I can share the opinions of our colleagues. For the further development of this sector of our economy over the last years in 6 regions of Uzbekistan, there were created 1 farm cluster and 7 pharmaceuticals free economic zones. The total number of free economic zones in Uzbekistan is 21. From them, 7 special for pharma industry and 1 pharma cluster. And all conditions of communications, gas, electricity, water, broad, to the territories of these free economic zones. But the main advantage of pharmaceuticals free economic zones, this is the exemption of participants from almost all taxes related to the conduct of production activities. And Uzbekistan is highly interested in continuing to attract Indian investment and advanced technologies in the production of modern competitive drugs, the creation of modern laboratory and research centers focused on the development of original drugs. 2, it would be mutually beneficial for both sides to further develop cooperation in healthcare sector. I'm confident that Indian companies will achieve great success in Uzbekistan, given the current high demand and need for medical institutions, as well as the rapidly growing population of the country. And activities of Indian companies in Uzbekistan include not only the provision of medical services to local people from our neighbors. List a number of the success stories of bilateral cooperation in this direction. In 2021, in Samarkand was set up Uzbek-Indian Joint Medical Center Zarmet Pratiksha with Pratiksha Group of India. Last year, Akash Healthcare opened multi-specialty hospital in Tashkent. Nowadays, we are working on the implementation of the same joint projects with some Indian hospitals and companies. Overall, we pay great attention to deepening mutually beneficial healthcare cooperation between Uzbekistan and India, and therefore we are ready to support any of the initiatives and thinkings of our Indian partners and friends. 3, I want to emphasize the dynamics of Uzbek-Indian educational cooperation. For example, the branches of MIT, Sharda, Sambram, and Acharya universities operating in various regions of Uzbekistan. And these are very popular among our young people. We invite leading Indian universities to open their branches or joint higher education institutions in the regions of Uzbekistan in the areas of IT, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, textiles, leather, etc. 4, IT. Strengthening cooperation in the field of digital technologies, cybersecurity is in the line with Uzbekistan's strategic plans for digitization or digital transformation, in particular with the Digital Uzbekistan 2030 strategy adopted in October 2020, which sets out 5 priority areas for development: digital infrastructure, e-government, digital economy, national IT sector, and IT education. In July 2019, the Technological Park of Software Products and Information Technologies, IT Park, was created in Tashkent. As Ambassador Skantayal mentioned, with the assistance of the Society of Software Technology Parks of India, STPI, and advisor of the management of this IT park, of Tashkent IT Park, is the representative of STPI. And in 2020, branches of the IT park in Tashkent were opened in a number of our regions, Andijan, Jizak, etc. And Mr. Partisati, advisor of the management of IT park of Tashkent, he's also the chairman of Jizak IT Park, of Jizak's branch of Tashkent IT Park. And with Acharya group of institutions from Bengaluru, we are creating now one of the biggest in Central Asia IT cluster in Bukhara region. The cluster will consist of IT center, university, school, and incubation center. We will be happy to find operation in this area, in this direction. Thanks to this, will have the opportunity to widely use the technological and innovation potential of India, which is considered one of the world's leaders in this area. 5, textile industry. As you are aware, the textile, clothing, and nightwear are strategically important industries for economy of Uzbekistan, like for economy of India. Uzbekistan has proven a competitive advantage in the textile sector because of its relatively cheaper skilled labor, as well as cheap rate electricity costs, allows manufacturers to reduce total costs of production. Today, our textile are being exported to over 60 countries across the world. If in 2016 the export of textiles were of 1.1 billion, then by 2022 it reached 3.2 billion. But the potential is huge, and now the main consumers of Uzbek textile products are the CIS countries, China, Turkey, European states. In April 2021, the European Union has accepted Uzbekistan as a ninth beneficiary country of the Special Incentive Arrangement for Sustainable Development and Good Governance, GSAS. And the European Union started applying preferential tariffs for products imported from Uzbekistan under this arrangement from 10th April 2021. And so we call on Indian companies producing high-tech textile equipment and companies working for world-famous textile brands to utilize these opportunities and implement joint beneficial investment project, whether it is the joint project for production of technical textile or spun or etc. Various products of textile industry. 6, silk industry. The development of sericulture in Uzbekistan has a long history. There is information that the practice of silk warming and silk spinning existed 4,000 years ago in the south of the country. In 2023-2025, it's a plan to double the production of raw silk and elevate its volume to 3,000 tons per year, and also through the deep processing of raw materials to increase the production of silk fabric by 8-fold, providing 24 million pagan meters by 2025. To achieve this goal, we are looking for Indian enterprises that can cooperate with us on the following issues: construction of modern mulberries, increase cocoon productivity, growing cocoons and processing it. We ask MIICCIA to provide us assistance in cooperating with the most advanced enterprises of India, as well as in silk industry. Next point is leather industry. In Uzbekistan, wide opportunities have been created for business entities in the field of leather industry. The country has a sufficient base of raw materials for the production of leather products. The process of modernization has been carried out in the field in recent years. In order to further develop to leather industry, it is needed with mature personnel in this field. That India has made great progress in leather industry. India is actually one of the hubs of the leather industry in the world. In regard, we will be grateful to establish branches of advanced educational scientific centers of India in Uzbekistan, such as Footwear Design and Development Institute. It's important for us to establish promising cooperation in industrial cooperation with major Indian leather and footwear companies, as well as producers and of leather accessories. 8, also colleagues mentioned about this area, tourism. Tourism cooperation between our countries is one of the priority areas, which is reaching a new level in the post-pandemic era. The majestic architectural monuments of Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva and Shahrisabz included in the UNESCO Cultural Heritage List, attractive nature and climate, as well as the hospitality of the Uzbek people, are an integral part of the interests of Indian people in modern Uzbekistan. Between the two countries, there is an issuance of electronic visa for the tourists. We have electronic system of issuing of visa. There are 6 direct flights a week now. From 22nd of September will be 4 more flights by Indigo, now 6 flights a week by Uzbekistan Airways. Then plus 4 will be by Indigo. Then from 2022 of September, 22nd of September, we will be it will be 10 flights a week directly. This year, it is expected that the largest number of tourist trips of travelers from India to Uzbekistan will be achieved during the cooperation over the past 3 decades. I can, of course, list a lot of other opportunities, areas, or directions, but due to the time, shortly time, I can just title these areas green transition, renewable energy, solar, wind, and so on. It is very, very perspective area for our cooperation. Then lifestyle for environment, also good food security, food processing, agro-industrial cooperation. We are interested at this area of cooperation between our countries, construction materials, production of construction materials, and as well as one, I think, very important area could be also Afghanistan. I would like to inform you that we we established in Termez. Termez is in the city on the border to Afghanistan. As you know, a very famous city with Druzhba or Friendship Bridge from Eurasia to Afghanistan, from Uzbekistan to Afghanistan. We created International Trade Center, Termez. It is free trade zone also. It was created end of 2020. Now is going on. The work is going on actually in this center, and on the territory of this center is being built now shopping complex, hotel complex with many hotels, hostels, and so on, and shopping complex also with some thousand, about 4,000 shops, and restaurant complex, logistic complex, and so on, medical center, hospital, for example, car workshop, and so on and so on. And benefits, also there are a lot of benefits, conveniences, and so on. I can share this information. I will not take your time, of course. And yes, I know. some words. Yes, and I would like to say it's extremely important to consolidate our efforts in above mentioned areas, as well as assisting our respective companies to find proper partners, develop and implement mutually beneficial projects, and solve any issues arising in this direction. And I'm confident that such events like today's are in great demand and very useful, because they provide an opportunity to get acquainted with prospective areas of mutually beneficial cooperation, including the implementation of joint projects in trade and investment, and to discuss their priorities in the future. Therefore, they should be organized regularly. Anilji, we sincerely welcome activities of Indian partners, its readiness for the close partnership with development of multi-phased cooperation between our countries. Taking this opportunity, I would like once again to express my thanks, heartfelt thanks for organizing this valuable business seminar. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so.
I didn't say anything. All right, but thank you so much, sir. Thank you, His Excellency. All right, we have this very interesting and intriguing video about Uzbekistan. Can I request this to be played? Right, that was a beautiful presentation about Uzbekistan. Thank you so much for sharing that presentation with us. Proceeding ahead, Kyrgyzstan, a land of breathtaking mountains and vibrant culture, has seen notable GDP growth in recent years, driven by sectors like agriculture and services. Despite challenges, Kyrgyzstan remains committed to fostering economic development and stability. Officially, it is known as the Kyrgyz Republic. It is a landlocked country in Central Asia, lying in the Tian Shan and Pamir mountain ranges. It's mostly mountains. The mountainous Tian Shan region covers about 80% of Kyrgyzstan. It's home to the world's second largest high altitude lake, Lake Issyk Kul. Kyrgyzstan's largest lake is the world's second largest high altitude lake, and it has some pretty ancient heritage. Osh is the country's second largest city and the oldest in the region. I would request Mr. Azamat Sidibulev, Consular Embassy of the Kyrgyz Republic, to kindly come at the podium and share his thoughts.
Your Excellency, Your Excellency Ambassador Anil Turgunayad, Excellencies Ambassadors, distinguished participants, I'm very pleased to deliver a speech today's event dedicated to the further development of business relations between Central Asia and India. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture for the great efforts for organizing today's event. The work carried out by your organization definitely makes an invaluable contribution to strengthening relations between India and Central Asia countries in business, community, in trade, economic investment, and many other sectors. I'm quite sure that today's event will make its own quite big amount and significant contribution to the further development of cooperation between our countries. So today's event opportunities between Central Asia and India. So let me speak a few words about business opportunities in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan is in the center of Eurasian continent, surrounded by magnificent Tian Shan mountains. The population of the country is over 6 million people. It shares borders with Kazakhstan, China, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Geographically, Kyrgyzstan occupies a very important strategic point, being at the junction of important trade and transport and air routes. Also, Kyrgyz Republic grants right of fifth degree of air freedom to all countries that have expressed a desire to make international flights to Kyrgyzstan. Through Kyrgyzstan, it is possible to carry out transit flights or cargo flights to not only to the main cities of Central Asia, but also to northwest part of China and Central Siberian and Ural federal districts of Russian Federation. Right now, Kyrgyzstan is, as a developing country, consistently carrying out market reforms. In 1998, Kyrgyzstan joined the World Trade Organization. This served as a good basis for the development of legal framework in the field of commercial relations with foreign countries. In 2015, Kyrgyzstan officially joined the Eurasian Economic Union with population of 182 million. Within Union, there is a zone of free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor. It means that investing in Kyrgyzstan will provide access to Union market. In January 2016, European Union granted Kyrgyzstan the right to the generalized system of preferences, which is GSP+. So today the products from Kyrgyzstan for more than 6,000 commodity items can be imported from Kyrgyzstan to European Economic Union member state without custom duties. In 2015, the Kyrgyz Republic was assigned a sovereign credit rating from two reputable rating agencies, Moody's B2 stable and S&P B stable. This, of course, allows potential investors to more accurately identify opportunities of investing to Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan has great potential in tourism sector due to its unique nature. We have many resorts, biosphere zones, resorts, and recreational facilities. Huge opportunities for organizing ecotourism, mountain tourism, mountaineering, hunting, and other types of outdoor activities. Especially in our bilateral relations. Last year, it's becoming more and more popular wedding destinations and organizing different events for companies in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyz Republic is located, as I have mentioned, in the north part and northeastern part of Central Asia, in the heart of Eurasian continent. Almost 90% of its territory is located over 1,500 meters above the sea level. It's quite gratifying to note that after implementing electronic visa, the amount of tourists from India to Kyrgyzstan raised almost 15 times. Another important sector, of course, it is agricultural sector. Kyrgyz Republic has a great potential for the development of agricultural sector due to its favorable climate. In an economic context, Kyrgyz Republic can meet all requirements for the production of ecological, clean agricultural products. The agricultural products of the Kyrgyz Republic grown in natural condition are in great demand in other countries. It's very pleasing that the export of agricultural products of the Kyrgyz Republic to India has growing in recent years. Kyrgyz ecological clean agricultural products such as nuts, honey, fruits, dried fruits, and etc. are highly valued in India. From the other side, Kyrgyz side exports a lot of rice, palm oil, and cane sugar from India. The mining and metallurgical industries are represented by highly profitable production focused on export products. The Kyrgyz Republic has extensive experience in mining and qualified personnel. These industries provide almost 60% of all industrial production in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan right now has large proven reserves of gold, tungsten, tin, antimony, mercury, rare earth metals, and other minerals. The Kumtor is one of the main companies in the mining industry of Kyrgyz Republic. The new law of Kyrgyz Republic on subsidies actively participate in the development of mineral resources. In this context, I would like to underline that Indian companies are becoming more and more interested in this sector. Not so long ago, if I'm not wrong, Kanoria company from Hyderabad is planning to visit Kyrgyzstan to research the mining sector, especially the gold sector. Another quite important sector is textile and clothing industries. The textile and clothing industries are one of the most developed in the industry of Kyrgyzstan. The domestic market of Kyrgyzstan is not so big, so that's why more than 90% of the industry products labeled made in Kyrgyzstan are exported to other countries. And I would like to mention in this sector that because it's becoming quite interesting for Indian citizens. Right now, we have more and more Indian citizens who are started to work in our garment factories. Another important sector is hydropower. Our country has a great potential for hydropower, which is 100 watt per year currently, but currently only 10% of this potential is being used. So, given to the global trend towards clean energy sources, we urge all partners and, of course, all the companies from India to explore and invest in the hydropower potential of the Kyrgyz Republic. Investing in Kyrgyzstan proposes very favorable conditions for the effective activity. For example, our country has liberal tax regime, income tax rate only 10, and the VAT tax rates is only 12%. Established business and enterprises are exempt from property tax, land tax, income tax, and sales tax for 5 years. Amendments were made to the law on investment of the Kyrgyz Republic on the stabilization regime. In other words, an investor in Kyrgyz Republic will be protected even if the amendment to the tax legislation of the Kyrgyz Republic would be made in the future. The Institute of Business Ombudsman was created to protect the legitimate interests of entrepreneurs and investors. According to the World Bank Doing Business 2015 report, the Kyrgyz Republic ranks 9th in the Business Startup Index. It takes only 2 procedures to open a company in Kyrgyzstan within 7 days. I also would like to emphasize following advantages: the lowest cost of electricity, which is in Indian rupees only 2 rupees for industrial purposes and 0.7 rupees for the population per 1 kilowatt. Quite highly qualified and educated workforce, favorable geographic location, preferential trade regimes, and duty-free access to the market with population of over 1 billion people from the countries of Central Asia, CIS, European Union, and WTO members. I would like also to emphasize that the protection of investors is under the personal control of President Mr. Sadir Japarov. The government of the Kyrgyz Republic is open to cooperation on all issues of ensuring the security and protection of foreign investors. The leadership of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kyrgyz Republic is also ready to hold any meetings with the heads of diplomatic missions of foreign states on the regular basis to discuss all existing issues. Dear participants, concerning the bilateral relations with India, Kyrgyz side is very positive and optimistic about further strengthening trade and economic ties with India. The annual growth in trade between India and Kyrgyz Republic also contributes to mutual interest. The market of Kyrgyz Republic is becoming entrepreneurs, businessmen from year to year. Companies with participation of India in Kyrgyzstan and operating quite successfully in various fields. Another important sector, as Ambassador Tayal mentioned, is the education sector. Right now, Kyrgyzstan has more than 17,000 students from India studying in Kyrgyzstan. I can say that education sector is one of the most important pillars in our bilateral relations. But also, I would like to note that when the Russian-Ukraine conflict happened, all the Indian students from Ukraine were forced to come back to India. When it happened, our president, as a gesture of goodwill and friendship, made a promise to Prime Minister Modi that Kyrgyzstan will take 5,000 more students from Ukraine that had to come back to India. Right now, we are ready to increase the number of Indian students up to 25. But of course, universities in Kyrgyzstan also have its own limitations. That's why we are working on opening up the branches of Indian universities in Kyrgyzstan. Right now, we already have some agreements with Lucknow Technical University and 2 other medical universities. Of course, there is in political sector, we can say that there is high political trust between our countries. This trust is, of course, supported by mutual visits on the highest and high levels on the ongoing basis. During the last year, almost all ministers of Kyrgyzstan visited India, and also quite many ministers from India visited Kyrgyzstan. But among the main visits, Excellency Charanjit Singh already mentioned that it was a visit of Prime Minister Modi in 2015. Right now, I can also add that another main visit was in 2019. This was a visit of Modi to Kyrgyzstan. This visit improved bilateral relations between our countries to a new stage, the level of strategic partnership. During the visit, the bilateral investment agreement between Kyrgyz Republic and India and introduction of amendments to the agreement on the avoidance of double taxations was signed. And all these documents, of course, allows representative of business community of 2 countries to successfully develop mutually beneficial cooperation. Dear participants, in conclusion, I would like to call you all to an open dialogue on specific proposals to improve cooperation between our countries in trade, economic, production, investment, medical, and many other sectors. As representative of the embassy, we are ready to create the most favorable condition for running Indian business and Indian projects in the Kyrgyz Republic and provide maximum assistance. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Azamat. He's the chairman of the well-known Tobu Cycle Group. He's actively involved in promoting MSMEs and startup ecosystems in India by working with various government ministries, state governments, corporate banks, industry associations, MSMEs, youths, and budding entrepreneurs. Interested in the mission of making entrepreneurial India and making India as world's manufacturing and sourcing hub. Presently, he's a member of the National Board, Ministry of MSME, founder, chairman of the MSME Development Forum, and independent. He believes in devotion, dedication, and selfless service, and his mission is to unite Indians, work for economic growth, development, and empowerment of India, and upliftment of weaker and underprivileged sections of society to bring them into the mainstream. It is a matter of great honor for me to request the chairman of MSME Development Forum, Mr. Rajneesh Goenkaji, to kindly come at the podium and share his thoughts. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries and my brother sitting in front of this dais. I have very short time, you know. I had lot of things to talk, but I'm just making it short. I belong to a sector, MSME sector. I'm representing roughly 120 million people of this country. When I was in Russia, I think it was equivalent to the population of Russia. I'm thankful to Mr. Anil and Mr. Dilbag for connecting me with the few countries. They first connected me with the Azerbaijan. They came to one of my programs. So I was not knowing even about that country. Then they took me to Baku. So Baku was again a new name for me. I went there and I found such a beautiful city and such a beautiful country. After coming back, I think more than 1,000 tourists have gone there with my connections. Then last year they connected me with Russia, the Trade Commissioner of Russia, and I opened an office in New York in 1980. That was beginning of Indians going abroad and doing business there. So 1980, I opened the office. That was purely my business office. But after Mr. Anil introduced me with Russia, I'd never gone to Russia earlier. But now I've opened a office of MSMEs there. We are trying to promote MSME business with Russia. Just to tell you, you must be knowing already, 90% plus business trade industry in India is MSME. 80% plus employment is generated by our MSME sector. And in India, only 6-7% are larger groups and larger those things. But normally when we discuss and talk, we talk only about larger people, larger groups and larger brands and all. But sir, socio-economic and business connectivity and transformation is only possible through MSME sector. We people, when we go to any country, we walk on the ground. When we land on the airport, we connect with the taxi when we go outside the airport. We talk to the taxi people. Taxi people take us to, we look for some hotel. We talk to the hotel people. Then we look for some Indian restaurant. So we are working on the ground. We connect with the people of that country. And I had given one slogan recently, Charkhe se Chandrayaan. Charkha is hand spinning wheel from where our small scale sector started and our industry started. And today Chandrayaan is our spacecraft. It cannot fly without the components provided by MSME sector. So in our spacecraft, even advanced countries like America, France, Singapore, they put their satellites to position in the orbit. Why they do it? Because our cost may be less, 6 times, 7 times lesser than their own cost, and that is only possible through MSMEs. Anilji is going to do some MOU with us today. Sir, in coming times, we will be able to connect with 2 more countries through you. He is ambassador of so many countries, and he's also making us self-proclaimed ambassador of India. With so many countries we're trying to connect. So maybe Anilji, with your good offices, will be connecting with another 2, 3 more countries to serve them, to connect them with the Indian industry. Because I was telling Russians that in India, people of India know America because they eat pizza, they drink Coca-Cola, and every street and corner America is known. But Russia people know only by MIG or some oil or some bigger things. I told them that you have to mix with the Indian people to make Russia more popular in the. So our job is also to spread awareness. Sir, I had been to Uzbekistan with my Minister of Commerce, Mr. Suresh Prabhu. So I went to Bukhara, Samarkand, and connected. So Anilji will like to work with the Central Asian countries more and more. They are more culturally known to us. People know about them, and our relation goes thousands of years back. And with your good office, we will certainly like to work. Today, I have another appointment in Meridian Hotel. So I'll request you to do that formality, please. Right. Thank you. I'm very sorry. I was not very. I had a lot of things to discuss and say today. All the galaxy of dignitaries are here. I'll take some other opportunity with Mr. Anil to interact with them again. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we're just signing the memorandum of understanding between Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, President MIICCIA, and Mr. Rajneesh Goenka, Chairman MSME Development Forum. Could I have some applause, please? Thank you so very much, sir, for taking your valuable time out and making it to this conference. Thank you, sir. I would request Shri Supushpa Kaushalji to present the next segment by the Indian company L&T. Can I have you on the stage, ma'am? Oh, sorry. I thought it was a...
Thank you.
I thank Millennium India International Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture Association, President Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, IFS retired, Head of Missions from Central Asian countries to India, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just quickly run through a quick pitch from Larsen and Toubro. So Larsen Toubro, it's all about imagineering. So this company was formed in 1938 by two Danish engineers, Henrik Holk Larsen and Søren Christian Toubro. Yeah. So this is like technology for sustainable growth. Larsen and Toubro is a multinational company engaged in EPC projects, high-tech manufacturing. We operate in more than 50 countries worldwide. We are engaged in core high-impact sectors of the economy, and our integrated capabilities span the entire spectrum of design to delivery. So this is a brief background, what we are. So we are a professionally managed corporate group, one of India's largest engineering, technology, and construction conglomerate, considered to be the builders of 21st century India. We went into public in 1950. We have a revenue of more than 23 billion US dollars, which is 1,86,200 crores, with a market capitalization of $39 billion. We are rated as AAA by CRISIL, another ICRA as AAA, with presence in 50 countries. We have more than 50,000 strong workforce, ISO certified 9001, 2015. So we are popularly known as builders to nation, and these are some of the milestone projects. Very few I have listed here, like a Statue of Unity in Gujarat, the ITC Grand Chola Chennai Hotel, Delhi International Airport, T3 Terminal, Blast Furnace of Vizag Steel Plant, Karpur Nuclear Power Project, 4,000 million tons per annum melanine plant, Seawork Grand Central Navi Mumbai, multimodal terminal at Sahibganj, Jharkhand, and many more such projects. The pictures are represents the same. Looking at the global international footprint, we have built the FIFA World Cup Stadium, Al Rayyan Stadium in Qatar, gas and oil supply based project in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Twin Towers in Dubai Marina, Cryostat for ITER project, 500 kV HVDC Ethiopia Kenya interconnection transmission line, and many more such projects to list here. Next. So there is an engineering news record, US-based organization, which rates the company on different construction parameters, engineering construction company. And we are proud to claim one of the top 3 positions in more than 6 categories. Air quality, clean energy, we are 3. Water treatment and supply, we are number 3 again. We are number 3 in environmental global firms. And we are number 2 rank in another field, and construction and remediation, we are number 1. Next. So I represent the EPC project business of Larsen and Toubro. This EPC projects comes under Larsen and Toubro L&T Construction. There are a group of more than 7 companies within L&T. I represent the power transmission and distribution company. This is electrical business. Next. So this business is headed by Mr. T. Madhav Das. He is our whole-time director and senior executive vice president of utilities. Geographically, we are present in India, Middle East, Africa, and ASEAN. And the business line that we cater is transmission lines, substations, cabling projects, and solar plants. PT&D track record that what we do, we have commissioned more than 200 megawatt peak of battery energy storage solutions. We have commissioned more than 12.7 gigawatt of solar portfolio. We have commissioned more than 280 plus substations in overseas, including 500 kV levels, 875 numbers of air insulated and gas insulated substations, and with one of the first projects like 1200 kV AIS and 760 kV GIS kind of substations. We have commissioned more than 42,900 circuit kilometers of transmission line, which includes 800 kV HVDC transmission lines also. We have commissioned EV charging infra ecosystems. We have electrified more than 63 lakhs households. 11% of Indian villages are electrified under the Saubhagya scheme by L&T. And besides that, we are into digital power software solutions also. So these are our key offerings. So we are into substations, we are in STATCOMs, we are in transmission line, we are transmission line tower parts manufacturing, underground cabling projects, cyclone resilient distribution, aerial bunched cables, feeder separation and intensification of electrification, distribution automation, solar PV EPC projects, microgrid energy storage, tracker mechanism, containerized battery energy storage solutions, and floating solar are some of our key offerings. This is our factory in India where we manufacture transmission line towers, and we also have a tower transmission testing facility. Next. So this is our footprint. We have at presently live more than 200 plus live projects covering 29 countries with an annual turnover of close to $2 billion. We have our own 600 plus design R&D software professionals, and we have a staff of more than 32 countries. So these are the key highlights of our global projects. 300 substations we have commissioned in Middle East, largest GIS substations in Southeast Asia in Malaysia, 400 kV substation in Algeria, 4,100 kilometers of transmission lines has been executed in Middle East, 400 kV substation in Malawi. And this is an award, Dozier Construction Award, Best Contractor Award we received in 2016. Let's talk about our presence. We are present in UAE, Oman, Qatar, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. Africa, this is our presence. We are present in North Africa. We are doing projects in Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia. West Africa, we are present in Cameroon, Ghana. In East Africa, in Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. South Africa, we are doing projects in Botswana, Malawi, Mozambique, and we are looking for Zambia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe as our next countries. Our ASEAN presence, we are present in Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. And we are also present in Georgia, that is the Central Asian countries. Besides that, in SAARC countries, we are doing projects. So what are the business driver for us in Central Asian countries? L&T is known for quality, timely completion, and a competitive price that we offer. We have more than 90 plus years of experience in construction. We have our own skilled workforce and highly digitalized. We're an Indian firm with global recognition, and we are a professionally managed and a public listed firm. For Central Asian countries, we feel that there is an abundant land and sunshine, so we have a great potential for renewable projects. There is a need to decommission some old power generation assets close to 6 gigawatt in Central Asian countries, and renewable power generation of 12 gigawatt and building a robust electrical transmission and distribution network. This is what attracts us to the Central Asian countries. And we have an office in Uzbekistan. Mr. Rajan Bansal is our general manager and head of the Central Asian countries. He is stationed in Republic of Uzbekistan, and I represent the Indian office here. That's all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Marshall. May I request Indian Chamber of International Business, Mr. Puneet Singh Chatwalji, and the President of MIICCIA, Ambassador Anil Trigunayaji, to come up on the stage for signing the MOU. A round of applause for Thank you to both the gentlemen here. Thank you so very much. I would now request Mr. Dilbag Singh, our Director General, MIICCIA, for the vote of thanks, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the President MIICCIA and the entire MIICCIA Chamber team, I express my hearty gratitude to Honorable Chief Guest, Excellency Ambassadors of Central Asian countries, and other esteemed speakers for sharing their graceful words with us today in a seminar. We convey our sincere thanks to Ministry of External Affairs, WAPCOS, and other supporters of our seminar, and it has been helped us a lot. I am sure that we will get the same support in future events also. I am also thankful to all participants who have joined us today in today's seminar. We hope that the two MOUs signed today with MSc Development Forum and the Indian Chambers of International Business will be mutually helpful in promotion of the Indian businesses. I take these opportunities to inform all our members that MIICCIA will extend all possible assistance to its members in promotion of their business. If any member has a question, he or she can write to us. We will answer very soon. Now I invite all of you for a high tea and snacks. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And while the high tea has begun, I would request His Excellency and ambassadors to come up on the stage for group photographs. May I request ambassadors to come on the stage for group photographs. Just presenting these small token of love from brand MIICCIA. MIICCIA Herbals is committed to providing premium herbal beauty and personal care products. The founder, Mr. Dilip Kunliaji. MIICCIA Herbals products are 100% cruelty-free and aims at creating awareness about the benefits of using premium herbal beauty and personal care products. And we have one more gift to be presented to our ambassadors by Mr. Vivek Malhotra ji, representing his brand name Ancient Dews, which is also our gift partner for today. So thank you to brand MIICCIA and brand Ancient Dews, both being our gift partner. Ancient Dews is a signature brand offering oriental and exotic derived from botanical and other natural resources. Vivek ji. मेरे को भी चाहिए मेरे लिए आयो या नहीं लाया ख्याल नहीं होना चाहिए ना May I have all the ambassadors to kindly come on the stage one last time. All the ambassadors to kindly come on the stage one last time. His Excellency Ambassador Nurlan. Can I have all the ambassadors to kindly come on the stage? A small token of love by Ancient Dews, founder Mr. Vivek Malhotra, sir. We hope you enjoy these precious gifts. I would request President Ambassador Anil Trigunayat ji to kindly come on the stage for just a few minutes. Mr. Vivek Malhotra will be presenting a small token of love here from his brand Ancient Dews, our gift partner for today, along with brand MIICCIA. क्या बात है Thank you, Vivek ji. Oh, thank you. Pleasure, sir. ये आपको भी गिफ्ट देना है सर आपको भी Director General Mr. Dilbag Singh, I would request you to come on the stage to hand over this gift to Mr. Gaurav Ravish ji, the man behind the entire conference, whose hard work and efforts are so very much appreciated. Gift le आइएगा please.